Hello, Palombi. So good to see you guys. I just finished up watching your concert again. I watched it a couple times just to get a feel of what was going on, and I wanted to let you know my thoughts. And so, first off, I love that Vivian Green quote. Such a great quote for this year, very inspirational. And I kind of felt like we were able to dance in the rain a little bit this semester with some of the projects we did. It was so much fun working with you guys and getting those song ideas out and seeing how they came out in the end. Before we get into them, I want to thank the two that did the introductions. Thank you for those and for having the courage to do that, read out loud and share those ideas. Super cool stuff. The found sounds are a lot of fun to listen to, really creative things. Fearing all roaring teacups, the first one we heard, a spring wedding tragedy. I think all these names were correct. I don't remember if I updated them, but that was craziness. I liked it. It had a very mystical feeling in the end, the way it sounded with the harmonies you guys chose and the melodies. It kind of was almost medieval, mystically. And so good job on you guys for playing out. I was able to hear you very well. You put air through the instruments. Uh, the only one thing I could think of is that I would have liked to see you guys do a little bit more with that crescendo on measure two to get that sneaky effect, starting soft, growing up, and then coming right back down to that piano. It was a really cool idea. I don't remember which one of you came up with it, but that was nice. But overall, it was good. You know, you guys roared through, heard a lot of that roaringness. Paige's Revenge, Paige. I don't remember. Did we keep that name, Paige's Revenge, in the Royal Garden? I don't. That one was good. So one thing I liked about that is you guys had some nice warm pianos. You were able to play softly for that because you chose softer dynamic levels overall, and you did a good job of realizing that. I would have liked to see in contrast to Fearing All Roaring Teacups, I would have liked to see you make more of that crescendo going into the fortissimo, a really loud, powerful fortissimo for Paige's true revenge. We don't want Paige to have a wimpy revenge, do we? So that would have been good. It was a difficult piece. You guys were not easy on yourselves with some of those rhythms and melodies, but you didn't get bogged down. A lot of times what happens, especially at middle school, is when music is that complicated, we just kind of fall apart or we get lost and stop playing. But you guys kept it all the way through, kept the energy going. Good job. Good job with all those 16th notes. That's challenging stuff for middle school. It was a nice regal and moody melody. That's what I would call this one. It was moody, but it was also maybe a little royal, a little regal. Cheese tree blowing in the wind. So this one, it had a great Toy Story vibe. I felt like I was in a toy shop, and it was light, airy, and it was pleasant. I thought the title actually was probably the most fitting title because I could just see a tree in the wind enjoying a pleasant afternoon blowing. And so good job on that. I like that you guys used the jam blocks, the wood blocks, for that extra bit of color because it added a different texture to it that I thought really helped along with the theme. And timing, you guys were great on the time. Very, very good job of watching the conductor and not rushing or slowing down. And with that tough melody, those of you who are on the melody line, it was there and it was, again, right in time. Notes were good. And I like that accent that you guys added to the last measure. It wasn't in the music, but maybe you guys did it naturally or maybe you added it afterward, but it was a nice way to end it. Finally, the seventh grade percussion piece, you guys never came up with a title, or if you did it after I sent it over. I liked your piece a lot. The inner parts actually, I think, were the most interesting. So you had the melody and the lower parts, but the lines that you guys chose for the middle added a lot to the texture and the feel of the piece. It was short and it was sweet, and also good job of counting because you guys had the opposite trouble of the eighth grade percussion. You had rhythms that were using longer notes, and so the tendency there is to drag a little bit, let it get draggy slower, but you guys did a great job of discipline. You counted each beat and you didn't rush or drag as you were waiting for your next attack. So good job, you composers. You are all composers now. You all had a piece in creating those wonderful compositions. I also wanted to briefly talk about the pieces of mine that you performed. So starting with zeros and ones, great percussion choices, great percussion. It fit very well. I enjoyed the sound of it, had a nice groove to it, and you guys played out confidently. Thank you, percussion, for not being wimpy. You played out very well. Air support for all the winds too. You guys really, I was able to hear you all the way. The staccatos were very appropriate. Thank you for keeping those short. One thing low people. So I was so happy that I was able to hear you when you had your bum, 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 bum. I would like you also to make sure that you keep those staccatos short. All the staccatos should be very short and concise. Overall, no one was really rushing on this one. And make sure you want to stay with Miss Brown, though, on those legato passages, because the tendency there is to drag. And you guys didn't drag very much, but I could see you fighting the struggle. Da, 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 da. And so that tendency, again, is to pull back or to take too long. And so you guys, I've obviously been working on it, because I can see that every time you started to slow down a little bit, you jumped right back on it. So good job on that. Just keep track of that and make sure you keep counting when you have those long notes. The rescue. So I loved the solos. The flute up top, very mysterious and airy. I like the variation and articulation that you used throughout. You used some of them short, some of them long. Great job. And then the clarinet and sax did it together, and you played very well together, actually. So when you have more than one person playing, you obviously can't do too much with the tempo, but you listened to each other and you sounded in sync, which is hard to do, and I'm glad you were able to manage that. Overall, I would have loved to hear more flutes you guys play out during the rescue on your passages. There were not as many of you as maybe you might have needed to balance, but if you guys played again, focus on playing out flutes. And we want to hear you. You guys have a lot of good stuff happening, and when I was able to hear you, you guys did a good job. So one thing overall, that during the dramatic sessions, bum 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 bum, I would have liked to hear a sharp, more aggressive articulation to play it more forcefully. And I would say that was mainly the thing that I would have liked to have heard. The downbeats on a lot of the triumphant sections, wonderful, very, very rescue-esque. And low people, I was able to hear you a lot. Low winds, thank you for playing out and being confident and assertive. Your tone was very good, all of you low people. For the ensemble overall, you paid very good attention between the solos, so that when Miss Brown brought you back in, you all hit that downbeat confidently. And then when the solo people came in, you hit that confidently too. A lot of times with the rescue, the trouble is hitting a downbeat that doesn't come in right on time because everyone's waiting. So you didn't do that. Thank you. And the second two solos also very proficient, very cleanly played. And the end, which is essentially the rescue, I loved the triumph of it. You guys nailed it. Again, it was so much fun to talk to you guys and see what you were doing. And I hope I get to see you in the future, maybe at some point. But either way, your concert was wonderful and you were an absolute pleasure. Have a great rest of your semester and a wonderful summer.